Welcome everyone to another devlog. It's been roughly 6 weeks since the last devlog and progress is there. Even it's kind of slow at the moment, I'm busy with a lot of other videos and, well, family life. Anyhow, let's take a look at the progress. The first part focused on the inventory system, which ended up being the larger of the two systems. First, dynamic inventory can now be opened and closed by clicking a container item. You can now remove items from an inventory. Now we just need to figure out how to add to them. I can now remove and add items to an inventory. I did this by having a mouse manager, which I needed anyway since UI items get global mouse position was just the resolution size. And when I'm holding the mouse down and hover over an inventory, it saves its own resource path to the manager. Then when I let go of the mouse, it first checks if the mouse manager has a valid path and puts it in that inventory. Sidetrack. To show the player what their current target is, also for them to be able to remove the target by clicking somewhere else. Items now synchronizing containers as well. Inventory works almost entirely at this point, and I'm in disbelief. Still need to add a unique identifier to all inventories and have sacks in sacks. You can now move items between inventories without issues. Containers within containers are still buggy, but I need to find a better way to do this, as it's quickly turning into spaghetti code. A lot has happened between this clip and the previous. I've cleaned up the code and made functions to help transforming inventories and items into dictionaries that can be sent between clients. And now it works as far as I want it to for now. You can stack inventories inside each other and throw items around without loss. My current failsafe to not be able to reach reachable inventories is that they all close when the container for that inventory is moved. Seems like there's a bug somewhere still, and I also need to make them update when we move item into them. Still, big progress. Not much time today, but managed to make a simple minimap that shows the player location with the purple cross. Only works on the server client so far. I've got as far as I wanted with the inventory system. It updates containers correctly and now also have them closed when switching inventory. We'll add some quality of life things later, but now I want to start working on the A-star pathfinding system. A print test of the A-star pathfinding. It's in the right direction, but diagonal movement does not seem to have high enough penalty. Need to visualize this as the next step. Here I'm showing the placeholders and how different tiles affect different paths. There's an issue with the first step that needs to be fixed, but it's close. Pathfinding now works, even online. Pathfinding is now fully implemented with path orbs that show you where you are gonna walk, and animations are now also updated. Start of a creepypasta, I guess. Error was that I tried to set a position and animation on all clients when it's the server that should handle that. Movement animation now works. Plays on the tile they're moving to, even though the sprite isn't, but it looks so nice already. Pathfinder now also works on enemies. If they can't find a valid path, they go idle. Inventories now also check that they aren't being put inside the inventory tree they're already in. Suddenly, there's a lot of empty images scattered on the map. I'm currently working on making it look better with the edges and corners. It takes a lot of logic to see which image should be on top of a tile. Still need to figure out the rotations correctly. Canyon tiles are now working. To get the tiles correctly, I made a design document that looks like follows. It tells me which neighbors it needs for a tile to be viable and its options. I also split the neighbors into straight and diagonal neighbors to simplify and optimize the logic. And I made 2 sets of this, but the first set didn't work with what I had in mind. The logic works as follows. I loop through all neighbors of a selected tile and then add them into two different arrays. One for all neighbors that are directly above or below or to the side of the tile, and another that handles all the diagonal neighbors. Then I add these arrays into a dictionary that use tile type as a key. Meaning we can have a max of 4 overlapping tile variants on the tile. After that I use the following logic tree to determine what type of tile it should be based on the amount of straight and diagonal neighbors in the arrays. We have the same amount of straight and diagonal neighbors, but these we do additional logic depending on the positions of the straight and or the diagonal neighbors relative to each other. And here we have the tiles now working correctly. Next step is to make them look better. And whoosh, with the magic of editing we have fancy tiles now. And now I'm setting for enabling and disabling the fancy tile edges, and the inventory window is now scrollable. That's why the close button is in such a weird spot. That's it for this devlog. I started reworking the inventory system to use Godot resources instead, but we'll look at that more in the next video. And also aiming to work on combat for next devlog, but it's time to start inviting people to try and break the game. If you want to become a tester and get faster updates on the progress of the game, join my Discord down in the description. Anyhow, that's it for this devlog. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see ya.